from desert with no rainfall, very harsh climate with no rivers or lakes, into a landscape with all kinds of fruits and more than enough water. This is what's happening right now in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So, how Saudi Arabia is transforming its desert into a farmland. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is located at the farthermost of southwestern Asia. It has bordered by the Arabian Gulf or the Persian Gulf, United Arab Emirates and Qatar in the east, Red Sea in the west, Kuwait, Iraq and Jordan in the north, Yemen and Oman in the south. It has the world's largest sandy desert, Rub al Khali, which means the empty quarter. It is the largest continuous sand desert in the world. It measures around 650,000 square kilometers. It is physically larger than France, Belgium, and Holland combined. 95% of Saudi Arabia's land is hot and harsh desert. In the summer, the temperature in the desert reaches over 110 degrees Fahrenheit, while in the winter, temperature in some of the desert areas can drop below freezing. That makes the kingdom to import food and vegetables from other countries. Before thousands of years, the desert of this country was once a lush, green area that's covered by water and fruits and was the perfect place for hunting. For now, the majority of the country's land is desert or semi-desert, but Saudi Arabia is transforming it into a green farms. Turning the deserts of Saudi Arabia into green started as an idea, but it's actually happening right now. They plan to reach 450 million trees by 2030, and they are planning to keep planting till they reach 10 billion trees. And for now, let's see how it's going. If you look at the map and go straight to Saudi Arabia, especially the far side of the desert, there we see a small circles. If we zoom in those small circles and make them bigger, we clearly see them. So, what are those? Those tiny circles are farms. The ones that are very dark already got fully grown trees. That means it's green, and that's why they look dark from the satellite. While the ones that are not dark, like these ones, are still in the process of growing. And we can see it's an enormous number of circles. So let's find out how this country with the world's largest desert is turning their unforgivable Sahara deserts into Greenland. Turning the desert into green makes your mind to think about such factors like water availability, climate, soil moisture. Without those factors, we know there is no chance. Let's focus on water availability in the desert at first. Saudi Arabia is a desert country with no rivers or lakes, and they got very little amount of rainfall. I mean, water is very scarce. However, they use a process called desalination. It's simply a process that removes salt from the seawater. Saudi Arabia is the world's largest producer of desalinated water. They produce potable water from brackish seawater. The Saline Water Conversion Corporation (SWCC) operates 27 desalination stations that produces more than 3 million cubic meters a day of potable water. So, desalinated water production removes the scarcity of water in the country and makes the life in the kingdom very easy. However, to turn the desert into green, they use another form to get enough water for the desert. Would you believe me if I say Saudi Arabia have underground rivers and lakes? I'm sure you're saying, how? The rainwater that fell over several 100,000 years are stored under the land. This fossil water filled aquifers that are now buried deep under the desert sands. Saudi Arabia reached these underground rivers and lakes by drilling through the desert floor, directly irrigating the fields with a circular sprinkler system. This technique is called center pivot irrigation. This technique has been used in irrigation for years. Center pivots are one of the several types of mechanized irrigation machines that can lead to increased yields and less water waste compared to other irrigation practices. The farms are circular because of a center pivot irrigation. As the name suggests, center pivots irrigate in a circular pattern around a center pivot point. Pivots are capable of applying water, fertilizer, chemicals, and herbicides. This system can improve the efficiency of irrigation practices by using a single piece of machinery to perform several functions. For the main point, it keeps the sufficiency of water and prevents the water to be wasted. So, how to deal with the soil? The desert soil is very alkaline. That means it's very salty, and it has a low content of nitrogen and organic matters with a very high calcium carbonate and phosphate, thus making it infertile. However, the country is using the innovative technology liquid nanoclay (LNC), invented by a Norwegian scientist. It's a process that turns the desert soil into a fertile soil. With this technology from the Norwegian scientists, they are turning the Sahara sand into a fertile sand that's capable of all different kinds of farming. Subscribe YT Documentaries for more.